Well, Dan, we had the news come in today, and I wanted to know your thoughts on this. And it's confirmed. We've heard the rumors over the past couple of years, but it looks like it's the real deal this time. We will be seeing Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson Saturday, July 20th, live on Netflix at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. What is your thoughts on this matchup? Obviously, Tyson's coming in at a much older age, 57, but it's still Mike Tyson.
Yeah, no, I actually have a couple different thoughts. And my first thought is, well, I hope it's not because Mike Tyson needs the money.
I don't think it's that.
Again, I say that only because, at one point in time, just from different things I read, he was into trouble with the IRS, things of the nature. I heard that he made good on everything. He's paid everything back. So he's free and clear and whatever he is. But again, I don't know where he was at that juncture of life. And if he's able to sock some money away, invest some money to where he doesn't have to do anything, he's just doing things as he wants to do them. But with that said, now Jake Paul, he is a very good social media influencer.
Yeah,
he has. I'll use the word cherry pick. I don't know if I'm using the correct word here. I think I kind of am. He's cherry picked a lot of these MMA fighters and offered to do a boxing match with them. So it's like, well, yes, it's the combat match, but he sort of took them out of their element because some of these guys might have been a little bit better at the grappling aspects as opposed to their striking ability, and all they're doing is a straight boxing match. On the plus sides, these various athletes have made the best paydays of their life. Now, with that said, it's kind of a shame that they didn't make that payday in the UFC. They made that payday off of a social media influencer who gave them an opportunity. So again, I take my hat off to Jake Paul in the sense that he's using a business type of program. He's giving these guys the best payday of their life. It's knowing that I think that the odds are stacked a little bit more in Jake Paul's field than ever. Now, with all that said, with what is coming up, Tyson at 57, Jake Paul is how old?
I will have to look that up.
Okay, but we can actually look at that. But even Tyson at 57, Tyson throughout his entire career is a scary cat. He doesn't just want to win. He wants to knock you out.
27. Tyson's got 30 years on him.
Okay. And that's where this should be, again, I'm purely speculating, this should be one of the best paydays that Mike Tyson will probably ever see. It'll be a good payday for Jake Paul there as well, because who would not want to watch something like this?
Well, I got to give it to Jake Paul, Dan, because it really is. I know his brother's in pro wrestling right now, but this is a thing that's as old as time. Jake Paul is playing the role of a heel, and to have a good heel, you got to have somebody that the audience wants to see get their ass beat. Jake Paul is that guy that everybody wants to see get his ass beat by one of these names, but he knows he also picked people that have no real chance. I mean, maybe if they get a good shot in, but for the most part, Jake Paul knows he's going to win this. Like, let's take you, for instance, Dan. Back in the day, if anybody stepped in the cage with you, they were in for a nightmare. But what would have happened if you would have went in the boxing ring with one of these pro boxers?
Oh, it would not be my forte. But even then, with what you said, I knew what my capabilities were. And mixed martial arts, you had a lot of individuals that, especially in early on, they were a little bit more lopsided in their skill levels. They might have been more of a strike, way more in the striker, very, very limited in their grappling, or way more advanced in their grappling, but very, very limited on their striking ability. The sport has been around long enough that there has been an evolution of the athlete. Today you have athletes that can strike with some of the best of the strikers, and then they can grapple with some of the best of the grapplers. So the sport is going full circle, and you have more and more people now that they want to get their kids involved in some type of a pee-wee version of mixed martial arts, so they can start learning how to do some striking, how to do some kicking, how to do some grappling, how to do some submission holds. And I'm trying to implement a couple of programs at my training facility back in Coldwater, Michigan. I mean, for having this, for buying my property back in, I think it was like 90, I will say 92, that when I bought the place, the UFC did not even exist at that point. But I know what I wanted for my visions, because I had professional wrestling going as of 92, and I had my amateur wrestling going. So I opened up primarily for amateur wrestling, folk style, freestyle, Greco. And then when professional wrestling entered in my arsenal, it was like, okay, I want to be able to teach professional wrestling, because there's a lot of skill sets. A lot of these current, you mentioned already, a lot of these current fighters, whether they be MMA fighters and or boxers, they're playing that role of that heel or that face, knowing that they're telling the story because they want to get you, Joe Public, interested or vested into their fight. You don't care who's going to win or lose. Just know that someone's going to get their ass kicked tonight.
One of my good friends, Yahya McClain, former world champion boxer, he was married to Layla Ali and trained her. His father-in-law was Muhammad Ali. He told us that pretty much everything you saw from Muhammad Ali, told him, I learned this from Gorgeous George.
Yes.
I learned everything that I saw, how to promote myself, from professional wrestling. And I think Jake Paul has taken a lot from his book. And you know what? Good on him. He's done very well with it. I'm sure he doesn't ever have to work if he doesn't want to work again. The fact that he's wanting to step into the ring with Mike Tyson, my hat's off to him, because Dan, a lot of this current generation has obviously heard of the legend of Mike Tyson. But let's go back to the 1980s. Just how big of a badass was Iron Mike Tyson?
Oh, again, I think the running joke was the moment that the fight would start, if you bent over to put your drink down, you could miss the fight, because some of his fights just were that fast that he would go out there and just destroy his opponent so quickly. Very few people ever made it out of the first round with him because, again, he was an aggressor. He pressed the action, and he's not just looking for score jab. No, he's looking to take your head off the entire time.
Absolutely, man. And, I was there for like the late 90s, early 2000s run of Mike Tyson. He was past his prime. And then at that point, I think it was just about a payday. Mike knew he was about to get out. There had been a lot of controversy. He was near broke. But a couple years ago, we saw him go against Roy Jones Jr. Anybody that is watching this, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Tyson donated the money from that fight. He's making so much money off of his cannabis business. It's not about the money anymore. He just wants to get in there and fight and define that beast that he used to be. No pun intended. I know I'm talking about that beast.
None taken. He's in good, very, very good company. It was well, again, on that note, an article came out like during my career at that point in time. It basically had stated who would win in a match between him and I. But that came out again during the height of UFC at that point in time. And again, I was flattered to be put in this article, but to me, it's like going, I am not going to do a boxing match with a Mike Tyson either. It's like I'd come out on the short end of the stick. So, but with that said, I don't think Mike Tyson needs this money at all. Mm-mm. I think he might be just, well, again, this could be, well, it'll be a great payday. It could take care of some stuff to where he could take care of family members, things of that nature, set up a couple of different businesses if he likes, invest more into his cannabis business. There's a lot of wonderful things he can do. And I hope that's really what the purpose is behind this, is simply just to know he might be coming out in his entourage, and they might all have different types of logos and stuff like that of this cannabis business on top of all that. It could be just a big marketing machine. But again, the competitor, he's a man. He's a competitor and he's a man. Men have pride. Men don't want to lose. Okay, so I still foresee Mike Tyson, even at 57, to go out there and put out the best savagery that a 57-year-old man can produce.
That's Jake Paul. Even if, say, he was to lose, he stepped into the ring with Mike Tyson. He looks to gain everything. He doesn't really have much to lose. He's going to get a great payday. Now, Mike Tyson, he's already got money. He's already got the record. Why do you think at 57 years old he would be wanting to step back into the ring? I know you can't say for sure, but do you have any guesses?
No, again, it could, just like what you said before, it might be for just the promotion of his new brand name of his marijuana products that he's producing. Right. It's we live in such a fast-paced society that if you're not in social media, people think, oh, you're out to pasture. You might be dead and gone. And I think it might be a way to say that, yeah, Mike Tyson's still here. He's still kicking. He's kicking it in the business world with his new marijuana products that he has coming on off, and he's going to step beside the ring one more time at 57 years of age to show what a 57-year-old boxer can still do. It's not going to be the same guy that was 20 years earlier, but it's kind of going, he might be a little bit more smarter for how he does things. And again, just for nostalgic type of reasons, I want Mike Tyson to win.
I'm so proud of Tyson. He has really transformed himself. I've seen the work that he's put in. I believe he's become a beautiful human being. So to get a chance after all these years to relive my childhood and watch this generation's star go against my generation's star, it's definitely going to be a spectacle to see.
Maybe there's something that we could do either post-fight or maybe do some kind of watch party or something like that. I'm spitballing here right now that what we'll have to think about this, but this way we kind of air it to other folks. Do we actually have like an email address or like that Eric, that people can either send in comments or suggestions, so that if we're looking to do something for a podcast or maybe something that could be live or immediately following the fight? I'm just looking at some we get the fans involved with us here now.
Absolutely. The best thing to do would be to comment down below, and I promise we'll keep an eye on it. We'll respond to you. And yeah, maybe we could come on here and do a live watch along. We won't be able to show other people the fight. Obviously, it's a pay-per-view, but right, we can watch it together and just talk about what's going on and give our thoughts. And I think this is going to be one for the ages. You're not going to see many more fights like this. I mean, Foreman was 50 years old when he came back and became the champion again. Tyson's 57, but I still think he's got it in him. So we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, no, again, hopefully we'll get some clips of maybe of him doing some trade or something like that we can add to some of this. But I again, as I say, I'm pulling for Mike. I want to see Iron Mike come through just because of nostalgic for myself. I'm right there with you. I am right there with you. Here it is. Yeah, his most valuable promotions, a live global sports event, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. That is Saturday, July 20th, live on Netflix at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Dan, we'll just have to wait and see.
Do you have any idea? Do you know why they picked Arlington, Texas? I'm just kind of curious about that.
Texas is a great area. I mean,
Texas is a great state. When you think about all of the things that are happening in our country politically alone, and you got Texas is simply saying, no, fellas, we're going to be doing it this way.
Everything's bigger in Texas. So if you got a big event, I've actually seen that stadium last time I was in Dallas just a few months ago. That's a pretty big stadium. So I expect they are looking at this to be a very, very big event, which we know it will be. So
excellent.
Nope. All right, guys. We'll be back a little bit later on, and hopefully we'll get to watch this with you.